So, good day everyone. We are going to talk about Egyptian art and architecture. Since its beginnings during the 1st century of the Roman Empire, Christianity has spread around the world to become the principal religion, value system, and social agenda of mankind, at least until the 20th century. Run first by Christ and the apostles, it gradually gave birth to its own hierarchical organization, the Christian Church, which over time became the largest and the most influential patron of the arts. Unlike the other terms that might be used to categorize art, Christian art is unusual in that it does not describe art of a particular style, period, or region, but for a particular range of purposes, which encompasses a wide range of forms and styles. A particularly fascinating aspect of the study of Christian art is that it touches upon such a wide range of other subjects: history, politics, theology, philosophy, to name but a few. Christian art began within the restricted confines of minority communities initially persecuted for their beliefs. Indeed, from the outset, the Christian Church used many different types of art in order to create an identity for itself, increase its power, and thus attract worshippers. In the process, it developed its own Christian iconography, relying heavily on architecture, sculpture, painting, decorative art, and illuminated manuscripts. In 313, after almost 3 centuries of precarious existence and the tradition of art-limited rings, seals, plus some paintings in the catacombs, Christianity was finally permitted to exist. In this year, the Roman emperors Constantine and Licinius issued the Edict of Milan, which legalized Christian worship. Then, in 380, Christianity's future was assured when Emperor Theodosius I, the last Roman emperor to rule over the empire, declared that henceforth it was the empire's sole authorized religion. During the 5th century, under the pressure from barbarian attacks, the Roman Empire split into 2 halves, East and West. The eastern half, centered on Constantinople, adopted the Eastern Orthodox Church, becoming the world famous for its own icon painting and mosaics. The western half remained in Rome and continued to follow the Roman Church. They later blossomed under the Charlemagne and the Ottonians and fully re-established itself with its huge building campaign of Romanesque and Gothic cathedrals. Later, in 1517, the Dutch pastor Luther launched the religious revolution known as Reformation, culminating the formation of a more modest, less hierarchical form of Christianity known as Protestantism. Since when the Roman Church has been referred as Roman Catholicism, Christian art encompasses both Roman Catholicism and Protestantism, as well as the earlier offshoot, the Eastern Orthodox Church. Christian art, a history of Christian artwork and biblical paintings. The scriptures have, for many centuries, has been a source of inspiration for Christian painters and sculptors. They have influenced great artists in many eras, leaving behind masterful examples of medieval Christian art and religious Renaissance art for us to explore and enjoy. Let us take a deeper look at the history of Christian artwork, Christian sculpture, and famous biblical paintings. The symbol of the cross was not used to represent Jesus until many centuries later. As in the early days of Christianity, crucifixion was a common form of punishment for various offenses and therefore would not have been exclusively linked with Christianity, but rather with incivility. To hide the meaning of these early Christian artworks, artists represented the figure of Jesus symbolically with pictogram symbols such as peacock, lamb, fish, or anchor. Early Christian art before 300 CE. Besides the early Roman occupation, discrimination against Christianity and Christian art, several other possible factors could have been resulted in a lack representing Christian figures. The people of that time were influenced by several different theologies and philosophies. Some believed that God could be experienced directly, others thought that he couldn't, and the others thought that if he could, then he should not be physically depicted. The Dura Europos Church is considered to be the oldest church still in good condition. It has been dated between periods 230 CE to 256 CE. By the end of the pre-Constantinian period, the portrayal of Jesus in Christian art have been accepted and fully developed. The importance of Christian church. Once Christianity had been legalized as a religion, the styles of Christian art began to expand even more. As more Christian churches were constructed and the most of the public, both rich and poor, mosaic art, an art form that proved to be incredibly popular during the early Christian art period, and more hard-wearing than traditional fresco paintings was mosaic art. Within these few places of worship, artworks were needed to adorn the walls and ceilings. Thus, magnificent and opulent glass-colored mosaic were used, then quickly became very popular. Madonna and the Child in the year 1300s by Duccio di Buoninsegna. Duccio di Buoninsegna was extremely influential Renaissance artist for the early 14th century, and a version of the Madonna and the Child is thought to have been painted sometime around the year 1300s. The paintings used for devotional purposes can be hinted at by the burnt edges most likely obtained from the use of candles at a smaller altar at it.
The Last Supper, 1495 by Leonardo da Vinci. Possibly one of the world's most easily recognized paintings, Leonardo da Vinci painted The Last Supper in the late 15th century. Housed in the convent of Santa Maria del Grazie in Milan, da Vinci started working on the painting around 1945 as part of a commission job to renovate the church by his patron, the Duke of Milan, Ludovico Sforza. As the name suggests, the painting depicts the scene of Christ's last dinner with the apostles. The Creation of Adam, 1512 by Michelangelo. Michelangelo painted this famous fresco from 1508 until 1512, and it forms part of the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, considered one of the most famous biblical paintings in the world. It depicts the moment God gave life to Adam. It is now widely accepted that the female under God's right arm represents Eve, and the other figures represent the children of Eve, the human race. Sarcophagus of Junius Bassus. This Christian sculpture is one of the oldest surviving sarcophagi of this quality and status. Various scenes are depicted on the sarcophagus, such as the sacrifice of Isaac, the trial of Jesus, a depiction of Adam and Eve, and the judgment of Peter. Moses Striking the Rock, 1624 by Joachim Antonius Wewel. This artwork portrays the moment that God enabled Moses to lead the Israelites out of the land of Egypt, as told in the book of Exodus. Surrounded by the children, women, and animals, Moses strikes the rock with the very same rod that he had previously used to part the Red Sea. We have learned that Christian art was hidden in the early days due to suppression of Christianity by the Roman Empire. It wasn't until the rule of Constantine that things changed drastically, where Christianity became the religion ordained by the state and began to flourish. After that, Christian art could be found in temples, churches, and public areas. Since the early forbidden days of medieval Christian art through the Renaissance, Christian art has experienced a colorful and epic journey of revival and survival. From the simplistic motifs on makeshift churches of the masterful frescoes adorning the walls of the chapels and cathedrals, Christian art has gone from underdog to overlord.